Every other person you ask in the world, they will admit that weight issues are something that they do face. And now obesity has become a widespread concern. The World Health Organization defines overweight and obesity as abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that presents a risk to health. Now, the issue has grown to epidemic proportions, and that is why we are discussing it on News Point today. The rates of overweight and obesity continue to grow in adults and children. From 1975 to 2016, the prevalence of overweight or obese children and adolescents aged 5 to 19 years of age increased more than fourfold, from 4% to 18% globally. Now, here's a look at the causes and consequences of obesity and a potential new drug that may be here to change things up. First up, we start with what is obesity. You see, obesity is a complex disease involving an excessive amount of body fat. Obesity isn't just a cosmetic concern, it is a medical problem that increases the risk of diseases and health problems. The latest WHO projections indicate that at least 1 in 3 of the world's adult population is overweight. Almost 1 in 10 of the world's adult population is obese. Additionally, there are over 40 million children under the age of 5 who are overweight. It is that concerning. Excess body fat can crowd the organs of respiratory system and put stress and strain on musculoskeletal system. This contributes to asthma, sleep apnea, and obesity hypoventilation syndrome, a breathing disorder. Now, it also leads to osteoarthritis. It leads to back pain. It leads to gout, a painful form of arthritis. Obesity is associated indirectly with a heightened risk of Alzheimer's disease and dementia, and female infertility and pregnancy complications as well. Now, it is also associated indirectly with depression and mood disorders and certain cancers as well. Now, metabolic syndrome is a common factor in obesity. Metabolic syndrome is essentially a cluster of conditions that occur together. To take a little further, metabolic syndrome risk factors reinforce further weight gain and make it harder to lose weight as well. It contributes to many related diseases, including type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, fatty liver disease, kidney disease, and gallstones as well. Now, the big question is, what causes obesity? First, fast and convenience foods. In communities and families where highly processed fast and convenience foods, fast foods that we're talking about, are dietary staples, it's easy to consume a lot of calories. Now, these foods are high in sugar, they're high in fat, and they're low in fiber as well, and other nutrients, which can leave you hungrier. These ingredients promote addictive eating patterns, and then sugar is there in everything that you eat. Sweets and sugary drinks have no nutritional value and a lot of added calories. Pervasive advertising pushes processed foods, sweets, and sugary drinks, the products that we need the least. Boredom, loneliness, anxiety, and depression are all common in modern society and can all lead to overeating. Now, they may especially lead to eating certain types of foods that activate pleasure centers in our brains, foods that tend to be higher in calories. Now, hormones, they regulate our hunger signals. Hormones can cause you to continue to crave more food even when you do not really need it as per your body needs. Now, they can make it hard to tell when you have had enough and when you just want to eat more. There is a difference. Medications that you take to treat other conditions may also contribute to weight gain. Antidepressants, steroids, anti-seizure medications, diabetes medications, and beta blockers are among them. Now, the good news is that overweight and obesity are largely preventable. The key to success is to achieve an energy balance between calories consumed on one hand and calories used on the other. A mid-stage trial of an obesity drug candidate showed that it led to weight loss of up to 24.2% after 48 weeks, surpassing results seen with other weight loss drugs. The weight loss treatment market is estimated to reach $100 billion by the end of the decade. For more on this, we have Dr. Nikolai Petrovsky, a public health expert and director of endocrinology at Flinders Medical Center. Welcome to the broadcast, sir. Dr. Nikolai, the trials of this new drug are showing that it led to weight loss of up to 24.2% after 48 weeks. I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on such a drug and how do you see this going forward?
So clearly this is exciting news. This particular drug is an extension of drugs we are already using in diabetes, which are called GLP-1 analogues. For example, we use exenatide, semaglutide. So this new drug is an extension to them. It targets the GLP-1 receptor, but also targets an additional two receptors in the body, and that may be the reason that it's giving greater weight loss. So this drug is delivering about 20% weight loss. With the earlier versions, we were looking at maybe 10 to 15% weight loss. So it does look like it may be an improvement, although it's still early stages. And we have to remember that a lot of people who are obese, who have diabetes, may need to lose, 50% or more of their body weight to get back to what we'd consider a normal, healthy body weight. So even though 20% sounds high, ideally we would like drugs that were more potent. The other thing, of course, is this is not a panacea for all obesity. These drugs only work while you take them. The minute you stop them, they stop working. Your weight will go back on. And also they do come with significant side effects like nausea and diarrhea. So as I say, they're going to be very useful, but they certainly are not going to solve the problem of obesity.
It's a very, very valid point you raised there, Dr. Nikolai, because a lot of people have issues with their weight. If everyone resorts to drugs which come with their own set of side effects, it can create further problems. There is a lot of testing which is required to go further. What I wanted to ask you was that the numbers of underage children, or I would say, youngsters who are being declared as obese, that is increasing alarmingly. What causes this kind of obesity in the youth, in youngsters, and also essentially ways that you can apply at home within your diet, simple ways that anyone can follow with which they can avoid obesity and reduce weight?
So it's a good point. I mean, in terms of childhood obesity, it's been a pandemic. When I trained 40 years ago, and at that time, it was like 1 in a million children would have severe obesity. And in those days, we knew that those small number of children had genetic mutations, so it wasn't a lifestyle problem. It was that they were born with a condition that made them overeat, and that caused their obesity. Clearly, that's not true today. The children of today have the same genetics as they did 40 years ago. So now childhood obesity is 99% lifestyle. It's an avoidable problem. Obviously, part of the problem is the child, but more typically it's a problem of the environment, their parents, the fact that they're not getting enough exercise, that they're eating, as you say, too many calorie-rich foods. And so we know it's completely avoidable because we didn't have this problem 40 years ago.
Right.
So somehow we need to find what were we doing then that we're now doing in the wrong way and go back to what we were doing, as I say, in times gone past.
So put it very, very simply as you just did, just look at what your elders were doing when they were younger and you'll probably be able to live a better lifestyle. And thank you so much for joining in on the broadcast. Some very insightful inputs from you, Dr. Nikolai Petrovsky.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.